For every stock you want to buy, there has to be a seller, and for every stock you want to sell, there needs to be a buyer. So it's important to learn how to read level 2 data because it tells us what prices these buyers and sellers are bidding and asking for. But before we get into the actual level 2, let's go over what the bid and ask means. Easiest way to think about it is an auction. The bid is the price buyers are bidding to pay, and the ask, also called the offer, is the price sellers are asking for. A popular auction house we all know is eBay. Here people buy and sell all kinds of stuff, toys, games, collectibles, anything and everything. So for this example, let's look at some Legos, since that's what my son has been into lately. So here's a listing I found of a Lego Chevrolet Camaro race car. And I can see that the seller has 9 of these available with a buy it now price at $26.99. So from a buyer's perspective, if I really want to buy one of these Lego Camaros for my son right now, I can do so for $26.99, or I also have the option to place a bid. So let's say instead I place a bid of a lower price at $25.99. Now I have to hope that the seller will come down and meet me at that price to get it at a lower price. Now if we look at it from the seller's perspective, I'm willing to let go 9 of these Lego Camaros right now for $26.99 each, but I also see that there is a buyer willing to pay $25.99 for one of them. So I can either hope a buyer comes up and meets me at my asking price, or if I want to get rid of one right now, I can do so for less on this buyer's bidding price. So if we transfer this information onto a table here, we've got a buyer with the bid at $25.99 and a seller asking at $26.99. And the difference between the two is known as the spread. So if we do the math, ask minus the bid, this Lego piece currently has a $1 spread. And if you want to know why this is important, make sure you stay till the end because I explain it later in this video. So this is your basic level 1 data. It shows the current best bid and ask price for a stock, which also helps us see the spread on it. And what the level 2 does is it expands on that data. So let's break this order down. This bid order is coming from eBay at $25.99 for one item, and a selling order also coming from eBay at $26.99 with a quantity of 9 available to sell. And in the stock market, there's usually more bidding and selling than that, so let's populate some other orders here. Now we can see other orders pending on the bid and the ask. Know that the bid will always be shown from highest to lowest, since it's showing the best price someone is currently willing to pay, and the ask will be in the order of lowest to highest, because it's showing the lowest price someone is willing to sell. And each price level will be separated by color to make it easier to see. So let's look at the next bid down. Here we see another bidding order from eBay at even a lower price of $24.50 for 3 items. And below that, we also have a bidder, not from eBay, but from Amazon this time, at $21 for 5 items. I know Amazon doesn't take bids, but just go with it for this example. And on the ask, we've got the next seller up from eBay at $27.25 for 2 items, and another selling order coming from Amazon at $30 for 1 item. And it's as simple as that. This is your basic level 2 layout, buying orders on the left and selling orders on the right. But remember, these are orders waiting to be executed. The level 2 only displays pending orders out in the market, showing us what's available to buy and sell. If we want to know what orders are actually being executed, we'll need to pair the level 2 with its sidekick, known as the time and sales window. I'll briefly go over what that is. So if we go back to the listing here, we can see that 21 of these cars were sold. And if I open that up, it shows me all the previous sales, at which time, date, and price. And that's exactly what the time and sales does for us. So if some buyer decided to buy one of these Legos at $26.99, on the level 2 window, the quantity would drop to 8 and the order would now show up on the time and sales window. So it's important to have these two together because any order put out into the market can be canceled. So by having the time and sales, you can get a sense if the orders are being executed or not. So first, let's look at what an actual level 2 window looks like. It may look slightly different depending on the platform you're using, but they all work the same. Just like how we made our table for the Lego item, first we have our level 1 data. Here is the stock symbol we're looking to buy or sell. In this case, it's Apple. The current best bid is at $171.50, and the current best ask is at $171.51, showing a 1 cent spread. Below that is the level 2, which goes into more detail of these orders. The left side always displays the bid, and the right side always displays the ask. You can see all the different exchanges these orders are coming from. Notice how the same price can be coming from a variety of exchanges, which is an order by the quantity of shares. And know that these orders are not individual orders, but they are bundled up. So if we look at the first line, we can see a 15,800 share order on the bid at 171.50 coming from EdgeX. This could mean one trader with one order of 15,800 shares, or it could mean 15,800 traders trying to buy one share. This we don't know. All it tells us is the total amount. One last thing to point out is the level 2 does not display the exact amount of shares. It shows in increments of 100 to keep it clean and simple. And just to show you, here is a level 2 with a time and sales window. It's always best to keep these two together. So here you can see how many shares were sold at which price. I removed the time column because I think it's unnecessary since I'm watching these in real time. But that's pretty much all you need to know about the time and sales for now. So I'm going to leave it out for the rest of the video. So now that you know your way around a level 2 window, let's get into the 3 ways I use it. Number 1, checking the spread. We briefly went over this earlier, but the spread is the difference between the current bid and the ask. The reason why I always check the spread before day trading any stock is to see what kind of fills to expect. So if we look at this example, we can see there is currently a 33-cent spread. This means that if I buy 1,000 shares right now at the buy it now price of $50.88, the best price I can turn around and sell this at is $50.55, which means I'd immediately be losing 33 cents or $330. Who wants to get into a trade and already be down money like this, right? Oh, but what if we bid for it instead at $50.55? Well, there's no guarantee you'll get filled at that price because that means the seller has to take on that 33-cent slippage. And even then, as the stock continues to move, we don't know what price you may get filled on the way out, and you may still end up losing that 30 cents per share you weren't expecting. So bigger the spread equals to more risk because there's a bigger question mark on what price you may get filled on the way in and out. So I usually stay away from spready stocks, but of course if you really want to take the trade, you can always account for the spread and share size accordingly. But the key is to be aware of it. And of course spread is all relative to the price as well. This being a $50 stock, I would say a 33-cent spread is on the spready side, but on a $1,000 stock like Tesla, 33 cents is nothing. So the higher the price is, you can expect more spread. But what causes these unwanted larger spreads? Well, it comes from two things. One is volatility. When price is moving too fast, whether the stock is getting a big pop or dropping too fast, we may see more spread between the bid and the ask price. And second, which is more common, is low volume. When a stock does very little trading, there's not enough buyers and sellers to tighten up the spread. If you only have 2 people bidding at an auction versus 200 people, the 200 people is going to have much more prices thrown out, which ties into the second way I use the level 2, and that is checking liquidity. How liquid is the stock? So if we go back to the spready example, let's say we scoop up these 400 shares coming from NASD, 400 from NYSE, and 200 from IXG, giving us that 1,000 shares at $50.88. But now if we throw out a market order to sell it, we can see there's only a total of 300 at $50.55, meaning we're going to take even more slippage on the remaining 700 shares of the 1,000 we're trying to sell. So 100 would be filled at $50.54, 100 at $50.38, 200 at $50.14, 100 at $50.05, 100 at $49.94, and the last 100 at $49.76, bringing us to a total of not $330, but a $620 loss because of the stock being illiquid. Now, this isn't really exact because you are able to hide your orders as well, so there may be orders we don't see in between. And there's also market makers whose job is to provide liquidity and make money on the spread, but to keep things simple, the point is to stay away from thinly traded stocks. And on the flip side, here is a very liquid stock. One cool feature I like about this level 2 is that it rallies up the total amount of shares for you. So I can see there's a total of 270,200 shares on the bid and 152,000 shares on the ask, meaning I can buy and sell not just 1,000, but even 100,000 shares of this stock right now and not take any slippage on the way out. In fact, this stock wouldn't even budge. So I would say this is a very liquid stock. And liquid stocks like this one, what I like to look for is an imbalance on the bid and the ask, which is the third way I use the level 2 data. So check out this level 2. We've got a stacked offer at 221 with over 100,000 shares and a weak bid with only 4,000 shares. Without looking at anything else, I would say the price looks lower. Because what happens when there's an abundance of supply and very little demand? You put the item on sale. So I'm going to say the price is going to drop. Here's another imbalance on the level 2. There's over 322,000 on the ask and a cute little 600 share order on the bid. I can almost say I'm 1,000% sure that 742 price will get taken out. Because out of the 300,000 selling order, how many do you think are going to snatch up that 600 share order at 742 before it drops to 741? And here's one with a strong bid and weak ask. In this case, the price looks higher. But let me ask you this. What if instead this strong bid starts to get taken out? What kind of buys would you have then? To eat away at all of those shares means there's some serious selling going on. So it's important to also look at your charts to get more information. Because if this was the only thing holding it up from breaking down on the chart, then that would be a good spot to look to short once it breaks. So it's about utilizing all the tools we have available, getting all the information we can to help us anticipate where price will head next. So those are the 3 ways I like to use the level 2 data. You may find it to be a bit overwhelming at first, but I promise you if you take the time to learn it, it will only benefit you. My one advice I have for you to get better at reading level 2 is to just keep doing it. I stare at these things pretty much from market open to close, so trust me when I tell you, sooner or later you'll get better at reading them, and don't forget to use it with the time and sales as well. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I promise I will answer them. If you thought this was helpful, hit the like button, subscribe if you want more content like this one, and as always, I appreciate you for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one.